Welcome to Bias Bashed. I'm Cal Thomas, syndicated columnist and Fox News contributor. Relations between Israel and the United States, nearly 1 week after Israel's election, resemble a bad marriage on the verge of breaking up. The media have facilitated harsh feelings between the leaders of the two countries by displaying its anti-Israel bias. Even Jewish reporters and commentators asked questions and made comments that make you wonder if they believe Iran and the Palestinian Authority are the good guys and Israel is responsible for the problems in the region. In an interview with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu shortly after his decisive re-election, NBC's Andrea Mitchell asked him, quote, "Why should President Obama trust you?" Well, that question should have been put to the Ayatollah Khamenei, who last Saturday made another of his death to America speeches in the middle of negotiations over Iran's attempt to produce nuclear weapons, which of course it denies. So why should the U.S. trust him? Then New York Times columnist Tom Friedman wrote, quote, "Netanyahu clearly made an impressive 11th hour surge since the pre-election polls of last week. It is hard to know what is more depressing, that Netanyahu went for the gutter in the last few days in order to salvage his campaign, renouncing his own commitment to a two-state solution with the Palestinians and race-baiting Israeli Jews to get out and vote because he said too many Israeli Arabs were going to the polls, or the fact that this seemed to work," unquote. Well, given Israel's free press, religious tolerance, equal rights for women, and free elections, it is astounding that so many in the mainstream American media continue to bash Israel. They incorrectly assume that if Israel would agree to do what President Obama wants, then peace would magically break out all over. History proves the opposite, and so do the incendiary statements made by the enemies of Israel and America. Fortunately, the polls show most Americans supporting Israel and figuratively asking the question, why should anyone trust the media to report fairly and accurately about the Middle East? For more media analysis and commentary, be sure to tune in Sundays at 11 a.m. Eastern Time for Media Buzz with Howard Kurtz. I'm Cal Thomas, and thanks for joining me on today's edition of Bias Bashed.